Hello, everybody. My name is Megan, it's true. The topic of the day is mastering the admin tools. Before we dive into this juicy topic, I'm going to prime everyone's minds with a quote here, which goes, "With great power comes great responsibility." And this is a quote from a Spider-Man movie, but the idea has been around for a very long time. And the reason I thought about this when I was putting this presentation together is because if you have admin permissions, if you are an admin user, you know you have a lot of power, right? You have access to everything. No one else has your level of access. You are definitely the god ruling over your software cosmos. You're adding and removing users at will. You're defining their permissions, and that stuff is great, right? We love power. But why do you have all this power? Why do you have this level of access that no one else has? Well, because you are responsible for all of that data that's in your applications, that's coming and going. That is on you. So no matter how you find yourself with these administrative access rights that you have, whether that's because you're the owner of your organization or this is just your little domain within the organization, I guarantee you, whatever the case is, that your name is on the short list of people to call in an emergency, right? Because it's really easy to claim responsibility for something when everything's going well, like this guy. This guy has created an app with Creator. He's very proud. Yeah, no big deal. Never learned to code, but Creator makes it easy. Now it's his passion, right? But then something goes wrong, and where's this guy? Yeah, I don't know about that, dude. Sorry, you're going to have to ask. Ooh. The admin, right? So what you need as an admin is to know how to find the information that you need to make big decisions. You know you're going to get that call, something's going to go wrong, and you need to know about your product. You need to know how to get in there, make the decisions you need to keep things going forward. You need to be able to answer the questions like, how can I personally ensure that my data is safe and secure? How do I know? Do I know that? Who's doing what within my application if you have multiple people working on it? What are they doing in there? Is my application even running properly? These are things that you need to be able to answer, and you need to know where to go to answer those questions. So we're going to take a look at 5 areas today within Zoho Creator that are going to help you to answer those questions and to have that knowledge accessible to you. We're going to look at a few things in the data administration side, and then we're going to dip our toe ever so gently into the developer tools. All right, first up is localization. And within Zoho Creator, localization is just going to be the adaptation of your application to meet the language needs for your users. So in other words, your Creator applications support multiple translations, multiple languages, and that's really cool because if you have a situation like this, where you've got an admin in the US, customer in Mexico, you got a vendor in Japan, a vendor in Spain, it'd be great if they're all using one application, if they can simply use it in the language that they prefer. Business is going to run much more smoothly. So what we're going to look at is how to add translations, how to allow your app to support multiple languages, how you can control the way that the users see these multiple languages, and the actual translation process itself. All right, so let's take a look. Demo account here. And this app that we're looking at here allows their users to design and order custom t-shirts from their website. So we are in the editor view, the design view, and we're going to go right up here to these settings. And this settings menu is pretty much where we're going to live through this entire presentation. All of our topics are right in here. So localization is up first. All right. So what we're looking at here are the different ways that your users can view languages within your application. Right now it is set to English. This is the default language, but we also have some other options down here to choose from. We've got user's browser language. That is so the user can view your application in the language of their browser. We have user Zoho account language, same principle, right? And we have this other option, let the user choose. Now, if your application supports multiple languages, then this is going to allow your users to go in there and select the language that they prefer. Okay, but the key word there is if, or the key phrase is if your app supports multiple languages. Right now, if we selected any of these other options, nothing would happen. It would default to English because we have not translated the application into any other languages. So for the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to say that Out of Line Designs, David Ingus, the fake owner of this fake business, has done some research, and it shows that they've got a lot of traffic coming in from Mexico. So it might be a good idea to localize their app to support Spanish, because maybe that'll generate a lot more orders. So we're going to go ahead and go through with that process of adding the Spanish language. So we're going to go up here to Add Language, select or search for Spanish, and now we are going to see this letting us know that Zoho Creator allows you to auto-translate your applications, which is very cool. Google Translate has gotten pretty good. This is what powers the auto-translation. So it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, but it is recommended that you have some human eyeballs to double-check this translation, because much can go wrong in translating. It is not a simple process, although a lot has been automated for us. So you can go ahead and select Use Google Translate. You also had the option to translate manually, but why are we going to do extra work? We're not. All right. Fantastic. Our app now supports Spanish. And Google Translate has, if we click on that little globe icon, translated many things within our application. You can go through. And the cool thing about this is that Google Translate has done the heavy lifting, but you can go in there and make any corrections that you need to make. If you say, whoa, that's not what logo printing, that doesn't say logo printing in Spanish, then you can go ahead and make that change if you need to. So that's a very cool feature. And you can also turn that off at any time. If you want to fire Google Translate, you can absolutely do that. And then you'll always have to agree to the terms and conditions if you want to rehire Google. So now our app supports Spanish, but what's that going to look like in the app? You do want to, again, view your application and just give it another look over. So we're going to select Let the User Choose. What does that look like? So we're going to go up here and access this application. All right, so I'm a user. I want to view this application now in Spanish. You go right up in this top corner, select language. Here's Spanish. What happened? So we see that the translations have come through here. It is now being viewed in Spanish. These sections at the top are actually not form fields within Zoho Creator. These are note fields that were added in the development of this application. So if you have any note fields, you see that those will not be translated. And if you plan to localize to a different language, you do want to keep in mind that some fields, such as a note field, will not be translated. So make some plans for that. We can also take a look at this little form here. Now this form, it looks like nothing has been translated, right? But up at the top, you'll notice that it has been translated. The form fields across the top, the names, those have been translated, and all of this has been data that has been entered by the user. And this is good that this actually has not been translated, because we want to maintain the integrity of the data that's coming in from users. So again, that's another thing you just want to keep in mind if you're localizing your application and supporting another language. Are you going to be able to make use of the data that will be entered? Because a user is likely going to enter in data using the language that they are interacting with the app in. All right, so that is localization. All right, moving on, backups. So I think we should all be familiar with the concept of saving our work at this time now. If you have lived your life so far and have not had all of your work mysteriously disappear, and then you find out it can't be recovered because you didn't save anything, if that has never happened to you, then you have truly lived a charmed life. And I want you to continue to live that charmed life. So backing up is the way that you're going to need to save that, all of your hard-earned data. Make sure that it's safe and secure, and if the worst happens, can always be brought back. So we're going to take a look at how to schedule backups, what to do with that backup information, and how to restore your application from a backup file. Again, we are in the demo account here, and we're just going to go back to edit the application, navigate our way back to the settings menu, get into backup here. Now, David Ingus, the owner of Out of Line Designs, has been a very good boy, and he has scheduled a regular backup here. Every Friday at 10 p.m., he is getting peace of mind by knowing his application is safe and sound. And if you would like to do this too, this is the easiest way to sleep at night. You're just going to go up here to schedule a backup. It says reschedule right now, obviously, because a backup is already scheduled, but you go up there, you schedule a backup, you choose your day, your intervals, and the time. And we do recommend that you choose an intervals that are a little closer together. If you have a lot of changes being made to your app frequently, or if you've got a lot of users using your application, definitely make sure that that's done on a weekly basis, just to keep as much of your data as possible in the event something does happen. So this backup is now scheduled. We see that he also has backed up versions here that he can restore from at any time. And also, you can download your backup data by clicking the download button here. And it's going to download a zip file that will contain your application structure in the form of a Deluge script file. And it's also going to contain the data. All of that data is going to be in CSV files, which also makes it highly portable. You can take that data, do whatever you want with it. It's not in some funky proprietary format. It's in CSVs, ready to go. If you would like to restore, something does happen, self-explanatory. It's right here next to download. You'll restore, and that will create a new version of your application restored from this file. All right. So that is backups. If you still, just one final note on backups. A fitness routine would never neglect the abs, the core of the body. And a master of the admin tools would also never neglect abs. Always back up, stupid. But, we don't care for that kind of self-talk here. Negative self-talk. We're going to go with always back up stuff, because let's be kind to ourselves, please. All right. On to the audit trail. So the audit trail, unfortunately, is not as exciting. The audit trail is just a way that you can take a peek, or maybe it is as exciting. You can spy on who's been doing what. Any changes that have been made to records within your application, Audit Trail is going to be your place to go to see changes that are being made. We're going to look at how to view those changes, get a detailed report, and see how to filter by type of change, et cetera, et cetera. So let's jump over here and go check out the audit trail. It does not look very exciting, but here's where the excitement happens. These are all of the forms within your application, and you're just going to go form by form and look at the changes made to each form on an individual level. So we're going to take a look at the order form, and we see that a lot has been happening here. These red records are deleted records, or this red notification is a deleted record. And you can, again, if you look here, see who it's been deleted by, you can see what has been deleted, and if you click on it, you will get a whole lot of other information about this deleted record, which is pretty cool because it's a deleted record, and yet we still have all of this information about it in case we wanted to restore that, add it back, or whatever. So again, it's going to show who made this, who deleted this, and when. All right, and then if you want to see records that have been edited, not deleted, you would just deselect deleted, and now you're seeing records that have been edited. So you'll notice if you click on one of these edited records, not as much information, but this is because this is just one single field that has been edited rather than an entire record. So you're just viewing the little field, what it was like before, what it's like now, and again, who and when. Now we're moving on to Sandbox. And this guy is editing his application in the Sandbox. If you have not heard the software term Sandbox, what it is just a self-contained environment for testing, building, that is not going live. It's all right there. And I think whoever coined that term has never actually seen a real sandbox, because if they had, they would see sand is everywhere. It's filled with other things that we will not be seeing in this sandbox. So I think that's where it's a self-contained environment. We're going to take a look how to edit your app in a protected environment, what that means, and how to test and modify the changes before they go live. So again, our settings menu here, Sandbox. So this is going to be where you create the sandbox. Very self-explanatory. You're just going to create the sandbox. And this is letting you know that when you start a sandbox session, the application changes will not go live until you publish them. Do you want to continue? Yes, you do. All right, so as this is loading, when the sandbox has been created, if you have a sandbox created, people that are using your application will not be able to see anything that's going on, anything you're adding to it, moving, whatever you're doing in there, people cannot see. But also users, internal users that are also developing, they will not be able to edit this application in the normal mode, only the sandbox. So another way that your data is protected and kept private as you're making these changes. So it's all ready. You can access the sandbox. And here's what it looks like. You'll see a purple bar across the top instead of the blue bar that you are used to seeing, but it works the same way. You just are going to go in here, open your form builder, and we'll say that for this application, it would be nice to track where visitors are coming from. So we're going to add just a single line field. All right, there you are. And we'll call it visitor source. Whatever else we would do with it. And then now we want to test the change. This is where you do your testing, make sure it's working. All right, we see this field, but we realize we don't want users to see this. So I'm going to go back in, create a workflow that's going to hide this from our users. This is all possible in the sandbox, and why Sandbox is so great, because you have time to really think through your changes, make them, and no one is the wiser. And when you are all finished with your changes, you can then publish. When you are completely finished, it's going to again say, are you sure? These are the changes you made. Everything looked good. You sign off on those changes, and it will then be live to your users. Okay. Our last topic is logs. So logs is just going to be timestamped documentation that's generated internally. And it's really useful for debugging purposes because you can get a little more information. You can see if your app is working properly. Essentially, you can see the events that succeed and fail. And for the failures, you'll get some information on how to go in and fix where are the errors occurring, and then go in and take some kind of action. We'll go back into our settings, check out the logs. All right, so this is what the logs looks like. The successes and failures are logged here, and the way that you just need to know how to read this. So what you're seeing here is the message, so whether it has succeeded or failed. The details, where did this occur? Where did this success or failure occur in your application? And who saw it? So a system user is going to be a user that is using your application that's been invited directly by you, an internal user of your product. And a public user is anyone else. Say this application is live on a web page, then that's a public user. So down here, then the time is self-explanatory, and the type. So the type of action or event that occurred. So down here an error occurred. Where did it occur? The order form. The user, it was a public user. Time, type, form, action. And if you want more information on that error, you click full log, And in the full log, you get this useful little tidbit of information, a line number, and that's your deluge code. You can go in, go straight to that line, see what was causing the problem, correct it, and keep right on moving forward. So, all right, that was logs. And now, you know everything. You are the master of the admin tools now. This is you proceeding with confidence, running your business, and that's it.